Yehi Ratzon, Parashat Vayishlach, 5785. The learning should be Lerefuat Kol HaCholim, Atzlachat Kol HaChayalim, Shavat Kol HaChatufim, Nechamat Ha'am. In this parsha, we read about the story of returning back to Eretz Yisrael. And it happens in the middle of the night. And it happens in a war against an angel. And it happens with a renaming of Yaakov Avinu. So much to learn from this story. But one thing to focus on this year. Why was the war at night? And this is also in preparation for Hanukkah. That we're Zocheh Be'ezrat Hashem to have one holiday in the year. That the majority of it, except for the reciting of Hallel, is at night. The main mitzvah is at night. We have this also at the Seder night, where the main mitzvah of eating matzvah is at night, but there's so many other things that can continue throughout the holiday of Pesach, of not eating chametz throughout the day. But here, the main mitzvah is at night. And so therefore we have to ask the great question, how do we perceive it? The Gemara Masechet Avodah Zarah Daf Chet describes that Adam HaRishon was born on Aleph Tishrei. And then the days were long and the nights were short. And as the days progressed, he saw that the night was getting worse and worse, longer and longer. And he said, Oy li, oy vavoy, this is my fault. Darkness is my fault. And this is mitash and iknesa alai. The darkness equals death, equals desolate, limit, prevention. And he's mourning for 8 days. Suddenly after that, he realizes that after the longest night, it starts to switch. And the days start to get longer. And then he makes 8 days of celebration. Says the Gemara, that was the 8 days of Hanukkah. When you saw that where you got to the lowest, you suddenly realized that darkness was a decision of Hashem and not a punishment. So why would Hashem decide darkness? And one of the reasons Hashem decides darkness is that it causes you to internalize. There's a great schut we had last night in a tish that we tried to teach the chaver that's the difference between a slow niggin and a fast niggin is that a slow niggin is meant to internalize, but a fast niggin is meant to affect. But what if we did a fast niggin slowly and we sang B'shavu Banim slowly? And we realize that sometimes the effect we need to have is internal to ourselves, to internalize this tefillah v'shavu banim, shavu bonim, builders, back home. And this concept of internalizing a fast song was exactly the experience of night and day. In the day we affect, in the night we internalize. But Hashem says maybe we have to learn that night is an opportunity to internalize all the great things that happen throughout the day and the great things we want to do in the coming day. And so I think that when the war to return to Eretz Yisrael is to rebuild the Torah of Pnimiut, to return Yuter Kislev, that is this week mamash, and to learn that the ability to return to Eretz Yisrael is not only to see what we have in the land, but to see that there's a story behind it. We should have the patience to search for that story. We should have the confidence to create that story. Be'ezrat Hashem.